Just a moment ago, a father was driving his daughter Kara to college, but something felt off. Kara wasn't excited, not even a little. She quietly told her dad, "I don't want to be an engineer." He was stunned. "Why didn't you tell me sooner?" Suddenly, a car sped past and cut right in front of them. The father slammed the brakes, just in time. The car blocked their view, but he didn't realize the danger ahead because Kara kept talking, saying she loved music, not engineering. Before they could finish the argument, the car ahead swerved, and bam! They crashed right into the back of a truck. Firefighters rushed to the scene. Turns out the truck's tire had blown, and the driver hadn't set out any warning flares. Massive steel beams, 2 tons each, were stacked on top of the truck, barely hanging on. Inside the car, Kara and her dad were still alive, but trapped. One of the beams was crushing Kara's chest. She gasped for air, her breathing getting weaker. The firefighters knew, one wrong move, and those beams could fall again. They secured the truck, removed the car door, and checked Kara, but she didn't care about herself. All she asked was, "Is my dad okay?" The team worked fast, inflating an airbag under the beam to lift it off Kara's chest. It worked. They pulled her out just in time. But then the beams shifted again. Firefighters held on, barely. Now they had to get to her father. They used cutting tool to remove the steering wheel, but when they did, they froze. A steel beam had pierced right through him. The captain called the medics. The father, he felt no pain, but when they said they'd bring Kara to him, he shook his head. He didn't want her to see him like that. Not like this. They tried everything, but when they finally pulled him out, he was gone. The captain looked at Kara. "How do you tell a girl her father died trying to take her to college?" Kara didn't say a word. She just stepped forward and hugged the captain, as if she was hugging her father one last time. A girl picked up a floating bottle. When she opened it, she found a blood-stained note inside. It said, "Help, I'm trapped on a cliff. Call 911. Her father saw it and immediately called 911. He told the dispatcher, Maddie, that the person asking for help was likely upstream. The fire department received the call and rushed to the scene. They brought search dogs and even called in a helicopter. But the search wasn't easy. The entire forest area was over 8,000 hectares. Captain Bobby split the team into 2 groups. One followed the helicopter, the other stayed on the ground, ready to assist. Following the father's guess, they searched upstream first. Sure enough, they spotted a man stranded on a cliff. The helicopter hovered right above him, and a firefighter lowered down by rope. The man said he had fallen from the cliff 5 days ago. His leg had broken, and his phone had died, so he used a bottle to send out a rescue message. Eddie gave him some electrolyte water, then put a splint on his leg to keep it stable. But when they were about to take him, the man refused to leave. He said he had something important left to do. He just asked for food and painkillers. Of course, Eddie couldn't just leave him there, so he strapped protective gear on the man and had the team lift them up to the helicopter. The paramedics were already waiting. They loaded him onto a stretcher to take him to the hospital, but the man still insisted on staying.
"I didn't want to leave. I didn't want anyone else to find the treasure. It's mine. The treasure's mine."
Shouting strange things as they carried him away. What he said caught the firefighters' attention. Treasure? Now they were curious. After asking more questions, they learned that a week ago, a famous mystery novelist named Hollis had reportedly died. Before his death, he buried a treasure chest worth $5 million as a gift for his fans. Whoever found it first could keep it. Later, a journalist confirmed the story with Hollis's assistant Jeremiah, and once the news got out, the entire city went crazy. In the hunt for treasure, someone fell off a cliff, someone got a tree branch stuck through his shoulder, and someone else got crushed under a bear statue in the park. One man accidentally dug into a fire ant nest and rolled on the ground screaming from all the bites. An old man went even further. He brought in an excavator to dig but ended up hitting a gas line by mistake. 2 grandpas got into a fight during the hunt, swinging their metal detectors at each other. Even when the police showed up, they didn't care. In just a few days, 17 treasure hunters ended up in the hospital, and more than 20 people got arrested. The rescue hotline didn't stop ringing, and firefighters were overwhelmed with calls. But the wildest part? Even the firefighters got tempted and joined the treasure hunt themselves. After all, it was $5 million. Paramedic Hen refused to be left out. She confidently said she'd be the first to find it. Only Captain Bobby held back. Well, not completely. He secretly started doing his own research at home. When his cop wife Athena found out, she looked at him in disbelief, then said, "Count me in." So the two of them started analyzing the clues together. As for where the treasure was hidden, the novelist Hollis had left behind a poem. "I walked along the river's edge to hide my secret treasure. A heron's sword, a gray bridge roared, a bullfrog croaked good measure. I stopped beneath a willow tree in the narrow place, and then I saw the light beam fall upon my treasured place."
This poem is terrible.
It's less of a poem and more of a riddle.
Fine, it's a terrible riddle.
After everyone finished mocking the poem, Eddie suddenly remembered when he rescued the man who had fallen. That guy kept asking if he had seen a willow tree. Maybe he figured out the same clue from the poem. Just then, another emergency call came in. A couple, thinking they had solved the riddle, believed the treasure was buried in someone else's backyard. The man pulled out his tool, pointed to the exact spot, and proudly said the treasure had to be there. He could smell it. But the homeowner caught them in the act and shouted at them to leave. The man held the owner back while the woman started digging.
Baby?
It wasn't a treasure site. It was a septic tank full of methane gas. She almost passed out. Firefighters tossed her an oxygen mask and managed to pull her out in time. By now, both police and firefighters were beyond frustrated. How long was this madness going to last? And just when everyone thought it couldn't get any crazier, the writer who started all of this, he came back to life. Just moments ago, Hollis's assistant Jeremiah called the police. He reported a possible break-in at Hollis's house and suspected it was a treasure hunter. Sergeant Grant drew her gun and quietly entered the house. She carefully scanned the room. Suddenly, she heard a noise in the study. Athena immediately raised her gun and ordered the person to stand up. To her shock, it was Hollis. He was alive. Turns out he had never died at all. Even Jeremiah was fooled. He furiously called Hollis a jerk. But Jeremiah wasn't mad about the fake death. He was angry because after 15 years of loyal service, Hollis didn't include him in the will. Athena then asked Hollis why he started this whole treasure hunt, which had thrown the entire city into chaos. Hollis smirked and proudly said it was for his new book. He was writing a novel about a treasure hunt. He had already sold the movie rights, and even Tom Hanks was interested in playing the lead. But halfway through the story, he ran out of ideas. He didn't know how to end it. So, he faked his death and launched a real treasure hunt. Now, all the treasure hunters were characters in his story. Athena was furious. She told him to shut the whole thing down immediately. Otherwise, he could be charged with fraud. But Hollis stayed calm. He said it wasn't fraud because the treasure was real. He actually buried it. Afterward, Athena revealed Hollis's fake death to the public. The firefighters were stunned. They realized the clown behind it all was one of their own. That night, Athena and Bobby laughed at themselves. But when they mentioned Hollis's unpublished book, Athena had a sudden realization. The book's title was the name of a river in the city. They rushed to check it out. There it was. A heron, a bullfrog, and a gray bridge. All the things from the poem. As they were admiring their cleverness, familiar voices came from behind. Turns out everyone had figured it out. So, they agreed to split the 5 million. Even divided by 6, it was still a lot. They followed the next clue from the poem. The narrow place beneath a willow tree. But when they arrived, someone had already gotten there first. It was Ravi, the new firefighter. Now the money had to be split 7 ways. They excitedly opened the treasure chest, but it was empty. Something wasn't right. Didn't Hollis say the treasure was real? Had they been tricked again? They drove straight to Hollis's house. Strangely, all the doors were wide open. Athena immediately felt something was wrong. Inside, they found Hollis, this time truly dead. Security footage showed a pregnant woman dressed as a delivery driver had been there earlier. Wait a second, she looked familiar.
My husband almost died. More people are gonna die.
Yes, she had appeared in the news. Her husband had nearly died during the treasure hunt. She had a motive. But during questioning, she said she didn't kill Hollis. She had gone there to beg him to stop the madness. But instead of helping, Hollis insulted her. Out of anger, she smashed one of his expensive vases. The shock caused Hollis to have a heart attack. She had thought about calling for help, but then remembered her paralyzed husband. So, she left in silence. But one question remained. Where did the $5 million go? That's when Athena thought of Jeremiah. Hollis had told him to bury the chest. Could Jeremiah have stolen the treasure because Hollis excluded him from the will? Soon, Athena received confirmation. Her guess was right.
He left yesterday, chartered a plane to the Maldives.
Do we even know if he committed a crime?
A severance package?